Hello everybody, and welcome to the English podcast for listening and speaking. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Chloe. It's so great to be back with all of you, ready to dive into another fascinating topic that will help you boost your English vocabulary and fluency.
Absolutely, Chloe. Today, we're stepping into a very relatable and important part of daily life. We're going to talk all about healthy eating, discovering the world of organic food, and understanding what it truly means to live a healthy lifestyle.
That's right. And we're going to do this in a really practical way. Imagine yourself in a common situation, a grocery store. We'll explore this topic through a casual conversation between two people shopping for food.
So, get ready to listen in as we explore the aisles of a supermarket. One of our characters might be tempted to be some not-so-healthy snacks, while the other will be making some very health-conscious choices. It's a scenario many of us can relate to, isn't it?
Definitely. This episode is packed with useful English words and expressions that you can use when discussing food, health, and daily habits. Whether you're a beginner or an intermediate learner, you'll find plenty to learn and practice.
So, let's get started. Grab a healthy snack, or maybe just a glass of water, and join us as we begin our journey into healthy eating. All right, Chloe, to really set the stage for our vocabulary and fluency building today, let's imagine a common scenario. Picture this. A couple, let's call them Mark and Sarah, are at the grocery store together.
Oh, I can just see it. One of them has the shopping list, and the other is probably just looking for snacks. So, what's happening with Mark and Sarah?
Well, Mark has recently decided to embrace a new, healthy lifestyle. He's really committed to it. So, as they walk through the aisles, he's looking for all the right things, like fresh produce and healthier alternatives.
And I have a feeling Sarah might not be quite as enthusiastic about this new healthy kick, am I right?
You're absolutely spot on. Sarah, bless her heart, is struggling a little bit. She sees all the delicious, albeit unhealthy, options and finds it hard to resist. We're talking about things like chips, cookies, and especially, donuts.
Donuts are a tough one to say no to. So, in this imaginary conversation, Mark is probably pointing out things like organic vegetables and talking about why they should choose certain items.
Exactly. He's encouraging Sarah to make healthier choices, perhaps explaining why they should pick whole wheat bread instead of white bread, or skimmed milk instead of full-fat milk. He's trying to get her on board with the whole, eating right, idea.
And Sarah, while she might appreciate his efforts, is likely still eyeing the bakery section with longing. She might even try to sneak a box of fast-tempting donuts into the cart when Mark isn't looking. It's a classic battle between good intentions and delicious temptations.
It truly is. This little scenario perfectly illustrates the kind of everyday challenges and decisions we face when trying to live a healthy lifestyle. It's also where a lot of our key vocabulary and expressions for today will come into play. So, keep this picture of Mark and Sarah in your mind as we go through the language. All right, Chloe, that scenario with Mark and Sarah at the grocery store really gives us a great foundation for understanding some key vocabulary. Now, let's dive into some of the words Mark might have been using, or that you'll definitely hear when people talk about healthy eating and choosing food.
Perfect. This is where we break down the language and make it super clear for everyone listening. Let's start with something Mark probably picked up, or at least thought about. Whole wheat bread.
Excellent choice. Whole wheat bread. When you hear this, we're talking about a type of bread that's made from flour that uses the entire wheat grain, including the bran, germ, and endosperm. This is different from white bread, which typically uses only the endosperm. Think about the color. Whole wheat bread is usually brown or darker in color, whereas white bread is, well, white.
Right. And why is whole wheat bread considered a healthier option, Ethan? What's the big difference?
The key difference lies in the nutrients. Because whole wheat bread contains all parts of the wheat grain, it's much richer in fiber. Fiber is incredibly important for your digestive system and helps you feel full longer, which can be great if you're trying to manage your weight. It also tends to have more vitamins and minerals compared to white bread. White bread often has added sugars and has been processed more, removing a lot of those natural benefits. So, if Mark is trying to eat right, choosing whole wheat bread for his sandwiches or toast is a really smart move.
So, instead of saying, I want some bread, if you're aiming for a healthy choice, you would specifically ask for whole wheat bread. For example, could I please have a sandwich on whole wheat bread? Or, I prefer whole wheat bread for my toast in the morning. It clearly signals that you're making a healthier choice. It's often denser, too, right? A bit more substantial than light, fluffy white bread.
Exactly. It definitely has a different texture and a richer, nuttier flavor compared to white bread. And that brings us to our second vocabulary word, which often comes up alongside bread, especially at breakfast or with cereal: skimmed milk.
Ah, skimmed milk. This is a term you'll hear a lot, especially in health-conscious discussions. Essentially, skimmed milk is milk from which almost all the fat has been removed. You might also hear it called fat-free milk, or non-fat milk, in some places, particularly in the United States. It's all the same thing: milk with the fat skimmed off.
That's right, Chloe. The main reason people choose skimmed milk is because it's significantly lower in calories and fat compared to whole milk, which is full-fat milk, or even semi-skimmed milk, which has some fat removed but not all of it. If you're counting calories or trying to reduce your fat intake, skimmed milk is often recommended.
For instance, Mark, trying to be healthy, might say to Sarah, let's get skimmed milk for our cereal. Or, I'll have my coffee with skimmed milk, please. It's a very common choice for people on a diet or those simply aiming for a healthier lifestyle. The taste is generally lighter, and it doesn't have that creamy richness that whole milk has. Some people love it, some prefer the creaminess of full fat, but skimmed milk is undeniably the lower calorie option.
Absolutely. And speaking of making choices that are not just good for your body but also for the environment, our next word is a really popular one, especially in recent years: organic.
Organic is a term that has become incredibly common in grocery stores and farmers' markets around the world. When food is labeled organic, it means it has been produced without the use of synthetic chemicals, pesticides, genetically modified organisms, or artificial fertilizers. For meat and dairy products, it means the animals were raised without the use of growth hormones or antibiotics, and often have access to the outdoors.
So, if Mark says, let's buy organic vegetables, he means he wants vegetables that have been grown naturally, without those artificial substances. The idea behind choosing organic is that it's better for your health because you're avoiding potentially harmful residues from pesticides, and it's also better for the environment because these farming methods are generally more sustainable and less polluting. It's about choosing food that is as close to its natural state as possible.
You'll hear people say things like, are these apples organic? Or, I try to buy organic meat whenever I can, even if it's a bit more expensive. The organic label gives consumers confidence that the food has met certain standards for natural production. It's a significant indicator of quality and health consciousness for many shoppers.
It really is. And the reason organic has become so important brings us directly to our fourth vocabulary word, which is often seen as the opposite of organic: chemicals.
Chemicals. In the context of food and healthy eating, when we talk about chemicals, we're generally referring to artificial substances that are added to food during processing or used in farming practices. This includes things like synthetic pesticides used to kill insects on crops, artificial fertilizers used to help plants grow, preservatives added to packaged foods to make them last longer, or artificial colors and flavors.
Exactly. People who are trying to live a healthy lifestyle often try to avoid foods that contain a lot of chemicals, because they believe these artificial substances can be harmful to their health over time. For example, some preservatives or artificial colors have been linked to health issues. So, when Mark pushes for organic vegetables, part of his reasoning is to avoid the chemicals that might be present on conventionally grown produce.
You might hear someone say, I'm trying to cut down on processed foods because they contain too many chemicals, or, I prefer to buy fresh produce to avoid all those chemicals. It's a very broad term, but in this context, it always refers to man-made, artificial substances that people often view with suspicion in their food. It really underscores why choosing organic is often seen as a safer, cleaner option. because the promise of organic food is precisely that it's grown without these synthetic chemicals.
So, to recap those 4 crucial words for healthy eating. We have whole wheat bread, which is the healthier, fiber-rich alternative to white bread. Then there's skimmed milk, the fat-free, lower-calorie dairy option. And we talked about organic, referring to food grown without synthetic chemicals or pesticides, aiming for better health and environmental impact. Finally, chemicals, in this context, are the artificial substances in food or farming that many health-conscious people try to avoid.
These words are essential for understanding discussions about diet and healthy choices, whether you're at the grocery store like Mark and Sarah, reading a health article, or just chatting with a friend about what they had for lunch. Knowing them will definitely help you navigate the world of healthy eating in English.
Alright, listeners, you've just gained some fantastic new vocabulary related to healthy eating and grocery shopping. We've broken down whole wheat bread, skimmed milk, organic, and chemicals for you.
Now that you have a clearer understanding of these terms, we think it's the perfect time to listen to Mark and Sarah's grocery store conversation one more time.
This will be a great opportunity to hear these words in context again. You'll likely catch things you missed before and solidify your understanding of how they're used naturally in a conversation.
Pay close attention to how Mark and Sarah use these new words, and even how their intonation and pronunciation sound. It's excellent practice for your listening comprehension and also for improving your own speaking.
So, let's go back to the grocery aisle with Mark and Sarah. Listen carefully, and see how much more you understand now.
Here it is again, the grocery dialogue.
Welcome back to English Podcast for Listening and Speaking. We've just revisited that grocery store dialogue, and we hope you're feeling more confident with the vocabulary.
Now, let's move beyond individual words and look at some common phrases that are super useful when talking about healthy eating and living. These are expressions you'll hear all the time.
Absolutely. Our first phrase is a really common one. Eat right. Chloe, what exactly does it mean to eat right?
To eat right means to maintain a balanced, healthy diet. It's not just about avoiding bad foods, but also about choosing good, nutritious foods consistently. It implies making conscious, positive food choices for your health.
So, it's about a pattern of eating, not just one meal. If someone says, I really need to start eating right, they're talking about a long-term change in their dietary habits.
Exactly. Think about our dialogue. Sarah said, you said you were going to eat right now. She's reminding Mark about his commitment to a healthier diet overall.
We often hear it in contrast to unhealthy habits. For example, we need to stop eating junk food and start eating right. This shows a clear shift from poor choices to better ones.
Or, if you're feeling a bit low on energy, you might think, maybe I haven't been eating right lately. It connects your diet to your overall well-being.
It's a great, concise way to express the idea of having a good, wholesome diet. It's much more natural than saying, I need to consume a nutritionally balanced diet.
Definitely. Our next phrase is one we've already mentioned, junk food. Ethan, what comes to mind when you hear junk food?
Oh, junk food. Immediately makes me think of chips, soda, candy, fast food, and anything that's high in calories but low in nutrients. It's often highly processed and not very good for you, even if it tastes delicious. That's right. It's called junk because it offers very little nutritional value for the amount of calories it provides. It's empty calories, basically. It can be popular because it's convenient and often satisfies cravings for salt, sugar, or fat. In our dialogue, Sarah was tempted by the donuts and called them junk food. That's a perfect example. Donuts are typically high in sugar and fat, and don't offer much in terms of vitamins or fiber.
Other classic examples are French fries, sugary cereals, highly processed snacks, or even some types of frozen meals. The key is low nutrient, high calorie.
So, if you're trying to eat right, you're likely trying to cut down on junk food. They are often used as opposites in conversation.
Precisely. You might say, I'm trying to avoid junk food this week, or, my kids eat too much junk food. It's a very common and easily understood term.
It's important to remember that having a little bit of junk food occasionally is usually fine for most people. The problem arises when it becomes a significant part of your regular diet. Exactly. It's about moderation, which leads us perfectly into our third and final phrase for this section, healthy lifestyle. Ethan, this is a broader concept, isn't it? It certainly is, Chloe. A healthy lifestyle is a much wider umbrella. It's a way of living that includes not just a good diet, or eating right, but also regular exercise, sufficient sleep, and even managing stress. It's about your overall daily habits and self-care.
So, it goes beyond just what you put on your plate. If someone says they're living a healthy lifestyle, they're probably exercising, getting enough rest, and trying to reduce stress, in addition to eating well.
That's it. In our dialogue, Mark's commitment to eating right is part of his larger goal to live a healthy lifestyle. He's not just changing his diet, he's changing his whole approach to well-being.
You'll often hear people talk about specific components of a healthy lifestyle. For instance, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night is a crucial part of a healthy lifestyle.
Or, incorporating daily walks into your routine is a simple step towards a healthier lifestyle. It emphasizes that it's a holistic approach to well-being.
It's also about balance. A truly healthy lifestyle isn't about strict deprivation but about making sustainable choices that contribute to your physical and mental health.
For example, someone might say, I'm trying to adopt a more healthy lifestyle by exercising 3 times a week and cooking more at home. It combines different positive habits.
And it's not a destination, it's a journey. People are always working towards a healthier lifestyle or maintaining one. It's an ongoing process.
So, to recap these 3 vital phrases. Eat right means to follow a good, balanced diet. Junk food refers to unhealthy, low-nutrient food. And healthy lifestyle encompasses all aspects of well-being, including diet, exercise, sleep, and stress management.
Mastering these phrases will really help you express yourself clearly when discussing health and nutrition in English.
And now that we've broken down these key expressions, we hope you feel even more confident talking about healthy choices.
Ethan, after all that talk about eating right and avoiding junk food, I'm curious. How do you personally approach your eating habits? Are you a strict, eat right kind of person, or do you have your moments of indulgence?
That's a great question, Chloe. I try my best to eat right most of the time. For me, that means a lot of whole foods, plenty of fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. I really enjoy cooking, so I often prepare my meals at home, which gives me more control over the ingredients. I try to make sure my plate is colorful and diverse.
That sounds ideal. So, you're often opting for that whole wheat bread over white bread, and maybe skimmed milk in your coffee?
Exactly. I definitely lean towards whole wheat bread because I feel fuller longer, and I know it has more fiber. And yes, skimmed milk is my go-to. I find it just works better for me. But let's be real, I'm not perfect. I absolutely have my moments. If there's a social gathering, or if I'm out with friends, I'm not going to stress about every single bite. It's about balance, isn't it?
It absolutely is. I'm very much the same. During the week, I make a conscious effort to prepare healthy meals. I love salads, and I try to pack them with lots of different vegetables and a good protein source. For snacks, I usually go for fruit or nuts. But come the weekend, or if I'm having a stressful day, a piece of chocolate or a small bowl of ice cream might find its way into my hands. It's about not feeling guilty, but just getting back on track for the next meal.
That's key. It's not about being perfectly clean all the time, but about developing sustainable habits. And speaking of conscious choices, let's talk about the organic trend. We defined organic as food grown or raised without synthetic chemicals or pesticides. Chloe, have you noticed how much more popular organic food has become?
Oh, absolutely. It's exploded in popularity, especially in places like the US and Europe. Walk into any major grocery store now, and you'll see entire sections dedicated to organic produce, dairy, and even packaged goods. A decade or two ago, it was much more niche, found mainly in specialty health food stores.
Definitely. And it's not just a passing fad. There's a strong movement towards it, driven by a combination of factors. Many people believe that organic food is healthier because it doesn't contain those chemicals, the synthetic pesticides, herbicides, and artificial fertilizers that conventional farming uses. There's a perception that it's purer and more natural.
Yes, and beyond the health aspect for individuals, there's also the environmental angle, which ties into the idea of a green option. Choosing organic is often seen as being better for the planet.
Can you elaborate on that green option phrase? What does it mean in the context of organic food?
When we say green option, we're talking about choices that are beneficial for the environment. For organic food, this means farming practices that promote ecological balance. Organic farms typically focus on soil health, biodiversity, and reducing pollution. They avoid synthetic pesticides and fertilizers, which can run off into waterways and harm ecosystems. It's about sustainability and a lower environmental footprint.
So, by choosing organic, people feel they are not only benefiting their own health but also contributing to a healthier planet. It's a consumer decision with a wider ethical and environmental impact.
Precisely. It aligns with a broader, healthy lifestyle ethos that extends beyond personal well-being to include environmental consciousness. Of course, there's always a debate about the cost of organic food, which can be higher, making it less accessible for some. But the demand continues to grow.
It really shows how our understanding of healthy is expanding, doesn't it? It's no longer just about calories or nutrients, but also about where our food comes from and how it affects the world around us. And that brings us back to our bigger point about a healthy lifestyle being about more than just what we eat.
Exactly. A healthy lifestyle encompasses so much more than just eating right. It includes regular physical activity, getting enough sleep, managing stress, and maintaining strong social connections. It's a holistic approach to well-being.
For example, someone might be very strict with their diet, but if they're constantly stressed, not sleeping enough, and never exercising, they're not truly living a healthy lifestyle. All these components work together.
Absolutely. I know for myself, if I don't get enough sleep, my eating right habits tend to slip. I crave more sugar and caffeine, and my energy levels drop, making it harder to exercise. It's a domino effect. So, prioritizing sleep is just as important as choosing whole grains.
And exercise is another huge pillar. It doesn't mean you have to be a marathon runner, but finding ways to move your body regularly is vital. Whether it's walking, cycling, dancing, or hitting the gym, consistent physical activity boosts both physical and mental health. It's part of the complete package, and stress management, which is often overlooked. In our fast-paced lives, finding ways to relax and distress, whether through meditation, hobbies, or spending time in nature, is crucial for a truly healthy lifestyle. Chronic stress can have a huge negative impact on our bodies, regardless of how perfectly we eat right. You know, one thing I always emphasize to people is that a healthy lifestyle is about balance, not perfection. And this brings us back to something we touched on earlier, something from our dialogue: donuts.
Ah, the forbidden fruit, or in this case, the forbidden fried dough. Sarah's struggle with the donuts was very relatable.
It really was. Even when we're committed to eating right and living a healthy lifestyle, there will be those moments. A healthy lifestyle doesn't mean you can never enjoy a treat. In fact, extreme restriction can often backfire.
I totally agree. If you deprive yourself entirely of your favorite junk food, you might end up feeling miserable and eventually binge. A truly healthy approach allows for occasional indulgences. It's about fitting them into your overall pattern, rather than letting them define your diet.
Like with the donuts, having one donut once in a while isn't going to undo weeks or months of eating right and making conscious choices. It's the daily habits that build up over time. If you eat well 80 to 90% of the time, that occasional donut is just a small blip.
It's part of the real-life humor aspect, isn't it? We can talk about healthy eating, organic produce, and rigorous exercise, but we're all human. We all have those moments where we just want something comforting or delicious that might not be the healthiest option.
Exactly. My personal indulgence is a good, cheesy pizza. I know it's not a health food, but enjoying a slice with friends on a Friday night is part of my overall happiness and social well-being, which is also part of a healthy lifestyle. It's about finding that sweet spot.
Mine would have to be really good quality potato chips, maybe with some guacamole. I can resist for weeks, but then one bag will appear, and it's suddenly a major temptation. But then I tell myself, okay, enjoy this, and tomorrow, it's back to my healthy habits. That balance makes it sustainable.
So, the takeaway here is that a healthy lifestyle is a comprehensive, balanced, and sustainable approach to living well. It's not about being perfect or never touching junk food, but about consistency in making good choices, understanding the green option of things like organic food, and knowing that a treat now and then is perfectly fine and often necessary for mental well-being.
It's about progress, not perfection. And it's a personal journey for everyone. What eating right looks like for one person might be different for another, but the core principles of whole foods, movement, rest, and managing stress remain universal.
That's a great summary, Chloe. And it really brings together all the vocabulary and phrases we've discussed today.
And
that brings us to the end of another episode of English Podcast for Listening and Speaking. We've covered a lot today, from whole wheat bread and skimmed milk to understanding what organic means and how chemicals impact our food choices.
We've also explored common phrases like eat right, junk food, and the broader concept of a healthy lifestyle, emphasizing balance and not perfection.
We truly hope that this episode has given you some valuable new vocabulary and expressions, and perhaps even sparked some thoughts about your own eating habits and lifestyle choices.
We'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on healthy eating? Do you prioritize organic food? What does a healthy lifestyle mean to you?
You can share your comments and experiences on our website. Just visit EnglishPodcast.com and find today's episode. We always enjoy reading your feedback and learning from your perspectives.
And remember, whether you're just starting to think about eating right, or you're already living a dedicated, healthy lifestyle, every small choice makes a difference.
It's not about being perfect, it's about being mindful. So, reflect on your habits, consider trying some new, green options, like organic produce, and slowly but surely, incorporate more healthy choices into your daily routine.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Keep practicing your English, keep exploring new vocabulary, and most importantly, keep striving for a balanced and healthy life.
Until next time, take care, and we'll talk to you soon.